Beneath the ordinary world lies a veil, and behind it, the voices of the lost still whisper.
We are your guides into the shadows, where true crime meets the paranormal.
From chilling crimes to haunted histories, we uncover the stories that refuse to rest.
This is Veil of Echoes.
By the time JonBenét Ramsey was found, the house had already been touched. Not searched, not preserved. Touched. Footsteps crossed rooms that should have been sealed. Hands moved objects that should have been left alone. Voices filled the space that should have been silent. The evidence didn't vanish. It softened, blurred, changed. Hours passed before anyone truly understood what they were looking at. And by then, the most important questions no longer had clean answers. JonBenét's body would be examined, her injuries documented, her death ruled a homicide. But no autopsy could recover the time that was lost. No report could reconstruct a scene that had already been rewritten. And once the evidence fractured, theories rushed in to fill the space. An intruder, someone inside the home, a stranger, someone familiar. Each theory carrying certainty, each theory carrying doubt, and none able to stand without leading on assumption. From that moment forward, this case would no longer move in one direction. It would split. And JonBenét Ramsey would remain at the center of it all.
Episode 30, The Murder of JonBenét Ramsey, Part 2. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Veil of Echoes.
I'm Lindsay.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Bria. Every week we step carefully into stories that refuse to stay buried, stories shaped by unanswered questions, fractured timelines, and voices that were never fully heard.
Tonight, we continue our two-part series on the murder of JonBenét Ramsey.
In part 1, we focused on the night itself, the ransom note, the early investigation, and the moments that altered the case forever.
And tonight, we move forward into the autopsy findings, the theories that followed, and the divisions that still remain nearly 3 decades later.
Before we continue, a brief content warning. This episode discusses the death of a child and includes medical findings related to that death.
We approach this case with care, restraint, and deep respect for JonBenét Ramsey and for those who loved her.
Listener discretion is advised.
And if you appreciate the care and research that goes into each episode, please consider following the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening.
Also, leaving a rating or review helps a small indie show reach new listeners and allows these stories to be told with the time and respect they deserve.
And before we continue, we want to share something important with you. Starting in January, we'll be introducing a new mini-series called Missing Veil Files.
These will be shorter episodes focused on missing person cases that deserve more attention than they've received.
Stories that may not have made national headlines. Cases that stalled quietly. People who never came home and were slowly forgotten by the public.
Many of these episodes will come directly from you, from listeners who want to share the story of a loved one, a friend, or someone from their community who disappeared and deserves to be remembered.
If you have a case you'd like us to consider, we'll share submission details soon. Every story will be approached with care, research, and respect.
Because being missing should never mean being forgotten. Now, let's return to JonBenét Ramsey, to what the evidence revealed and to the theories that followed.
When JonBenét Ramsey was discovered inside the Ramsey home just after 1 p.m. on December 26th, the investigation had already lost critical ground. The house had been occupied for hours, the scene had been altered, and critical moments had passed without documentation.
JonBenét's body remained inside the home for a period of time after she was found. Only later was she transported for autopsy.
That autopsy was performed the following day, December 27, 1996, and its findings would challenge nearly every early assumption about how JonBenét died.
The official cause of death was ruled as asphyxiation by strangulation, associated with craniocerebral trauma. In simple terms, JonBenét suffered a severe head injury and was later strangled.
The head injury alone was catastrophic. She suffered a skull fracture measuring more than 8 inches in length. Medical experts later concluded the blow would have rendered her unconscious almost immediately.
What made this finding especially troubling was the absence of external bleeding. There were no obvious signs of trauma visible to the naked eye.
This raised a question that had never stopped following this case. If JonBenét was unconscious from the head injury, why was there a delay before the strangulation occurred?
The strangulation was caused by a cord tied around JonBenét's neck. The cord was attached to a broken paintbrush handle, taken from inside the Ramsey home.
The pressure applied was sustained and forceful. This was not accidental, and it was not momentary.
Petechial hemorrhaging, tiny burst blood vessels, was also present. A finding commonly associated with prolonged asphyxiation.
There were no defensive injuries, no scratches, no signs JonBenét attempted to fight back. This aligned with medical conclusions that she was likely unconscious during the strangulation.
There were also findings related to injury in the genital area. This detail would later become one of the most decisive aspects of the case. Some experts believed it suggested prior sexual abuse, and others concluded it could have resulted from the assault itself or from prior medical conditions.
No semen was found, and there was no medical consensus that definitely established prior abuse.
Fingernail clippings were taken, but no definitive foreign DNA was recovered from beneath them. Again, no clear signs of a violent struggle. The autopsy revealed another detail that quietly complicated the timeline. Undigested pineapple was found in JonBenét's stomach and small intestines.
Based on digestion, experts estimated the pineapple had been eaten roughly 1 or 2 hours before her death.
This mattered because both John and Patsy Ramsey stated that JonBenét was asleep when they returned home, and that she was carried directly to bed. They said she wasn't fed.
Later, a bowl of pineapple with milk and a spoon was found on the kitchen table. Burke Ramsey would later acknowledge that the pineapple looked similar to what he would eat. I kind of think of it, too, though, as maybe she got up,
Yeah,
got a bowl of it, and then went back
When
to
she was
bed,
sick,
because that
yeah.
happens.
exactly.
I mean, I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning just to eat something because I'm hungry. I mean, I can't say anything.
True. So I don't know.
I mean, that's something to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, what kid doesn't get up, though, at some point in the night to get food?
I mean, she was 6, so.
Yeah, when I was 6 years old, apparently I was trying to pee underneath a kitchen sink, so... so anything can happen.
There you go.
Anything can
There you
happen.
go. Yeah. Yeah. I know the pineapple thing is just. Yeah. I know it's one of those things I would always bring up.
Pineapple and milk, I'm kind of questioning that.
Yeah, it's a weird combo.
That's what I'm more concerned about, who's eating milk with pineapple.
Well, people eat cornbread soaked in milk.
Yeah, that's a strange one too. I never understood
I mean,
that
I
either.
would drink, like, if I had milk to drink, I was drinking milk and I was I mean, I could eat the pineapple and drink milk, but is she, like, is it together?
Like, combining it is
Oh.
what, like
like a
here...
cereal.
Yeah, like cereal. They basically just... I'm just kind of like, yeah, what kind of combination is that?
I mean, cottage cheese and pineapple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, though,
At least there's more consistency.
Yeah.
There's just something about the milk and the pineapple.
It
I
just...
don't know.
Pineapple
But I mean,
soup.
it could be something from around that area too, though. Because I
That's
mean,
like-
if you think about it, you go to Florida, you don't have like pork chops.
Yeah.
That's a Midwest thing.
Yeah, that's true.
They
I like
don't-
biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, nothing like that is found in Florida. It's all... They're like, as soon as you talk about pork chops, they're like, what the hell?
That's funny.
I just can't believe this is a pineapple thing.
Yeah. Anyways.
The pineapple does not identify a suspect. It doesn't tell us who served it. It doesn't tell us who was present. And it doesn't tell us what followed.
But it does tell us this. JonBenét was awake at some point after returning home, and that moment doesn't fit cleanly into the timeline investigators were given.
Despite its importance, the autopsy couldn't prove the answers investigators needed most. It couldn't establish a precise time of death. It couldn't determine who was present. And it couldn't reconstruct a sequence that had already been disrupted inside the home.
What it offered instead was a narrowed window and a growing awareness that certainty might never be possible.
This wasn't a single moment. It was a sequence. And the timeline that mattered most had already slipped away.
The autopsy didn't solve the case, but it made one thing clear. Whatever happened to JonBenét Ramsey did not unfold quickly, and it did not unfold cleanly.
So when you guys consider the sequence of injuries and the presence of undigested pineapple, what part of the timeline feels the most difficult to reconcile? So the sequence of the injuries and the presence... Well, they said the pineapple, she ate it like about 2 hours before death, the
Yeah.
autopsy results.
Yeah, based on the digestion results.
And then she was hit when the head was something, and then that's what...
yeah, 8 inches long. It was like
That's
8
what-
She had to have been hit by
fracture.
something that wouldn't bust her head completely open
Yeah, because
because
it didn't show...
Yeah, because
almost
no outside.
I mean, who knows? It could have been an adult fist.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a 6-year-old child,
Yeah.
and if it's, not saying it was a man or a woman,
Yeah. Right.
I mean, all they had to do is just hit her as hard as they could in the back of the head.
Like, even a bat, but that would... You couldn't... I mean, I guess it depends how hard they hit them, obviously.
And I mean, there's, at 6 years old, your skull's still developing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're more fragile compared to the average, yeah.
So it's like, to me, somebody could have just went up and socked her in the back of the head real hard and...
Yeah?
Then strangled her. Knocked her unconscious, and then they knew, oh, she's not going to fight me back, so... Boom.
Yeah, and they said the strangulation came...
After.
A while after, not immediately after the head strike. So could that be another two-person situation? Could it have been like, oh shit, and then it's like, well, we already came this far, so I might as well...
It says, she was hit in the head
sentence.
with a blunt object causing a skull fracture, likely a large flashlight or similar item which knocked her unconscious before she was later strangled. Though the killer and exact weapon remain officially undetermined, with theories suggesting a flashlight, a bat, or even a stun gun, according to various investigators and pathologists.
Heavy-ass stun gun.
I was about to say, what kind of freaking stun gun are they using? My God.
Like, pistol
But the
whip?
the cause of death was asphyxiation.
But that's not 8 inches for a butt of a gun. I mean, I'm no weapons expert, and I don't, but...
You know, that's a...
Well, it says here,
Maybe
the
the whole
weapon
gun.
theories, the flashlight, the maglite, many, including forensic pathologists, linked the injury to a large maglite flashlight found in the home, as the blow didn't break the skin but caused internal damage. Bat or other blunt object, other possibilities like a bat were also considered, and then a stun gun. Detective Lou Smith proposed a stun gun, citing marks on her body, though police dismissed this.
Just insane to think if it's heavy enough to cause a fracture, it didn't break the skin.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, stun guns vary in size, from
Yeah.
pocket-sized models resembling large flashlights or smartphones around 3 to 7 inches, to much larger stun batons that can extend over 15 inches. So if it's something like that, it would be a stun baton. It wouldn't be the stun gun itself.
Yeah.
It would have to be something like that. I mean, because like it says, around 3 to 7 inches.
And hers was what, 8 inches long?
And hers was 8
so
inches.
does that mean like the object was 8 inches long, or does that mean it just like...
The
So-
fracture ended up 8 inches,
Yeah.
so...
So the way it would have hit,
We
it
could
would've
guess it'd be like 6 to 8 inch object.
yeah. To me, it
The
wouldn't
poor
be...
girl.
Because depending on the impact, it could have...
They must have done it,
spread
and
out.
obviously in her
Spread.
sleep.
Yeah.
Whomever struck her, took her down to the basement, and enough time passed that they could have went up and got someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
then strangulation occurred.
You have that time
Well,
between the
Because they
time she
said
was
it
knocked
wasn't
out.
pop, pop.
Yeah.
It was not immediate. It was sequenced. Do.
It's just like, why? I don't know. It's one of these things I'm just like, why? Why?
It's not
And I
adding
mean-
up.
It
Like-
doesn't. It doesn't.
I don't know. I just...
And then the autopsy findings of her injuries to her
Her...
genital area.
The thing...
It says small amounts of dried blood, bruising, and abrasions were found. So specifically an abrasion on the hymen.
I
This
have no
indicated trauma
idea.
that occurred around the time of her death. But then there was also suggestions that there was prior trauma. The autopsy also revealed signs of chronic inflammation and a structural change to the hymen that some experts concluded was an older healing injury, suggesting she may have been subjected to prior sexual contact that occurred at least 10 days before her death, which I was watching that documentary, and John, the dad, and the mom was like, no, none of that ever happened.
Still,
Yeah.
what about the broken window? Was the glass inside or outside?
That was done. John even said that was done like months prior. I don't know. None of it adds up.
None of it does. I mean, from...
But they claim their innocence to this day. So.
Yeah, because based on what they said, she was sleeping when they got home and they laid her down.
But then again, what Lindsay said, she could have got up.
Yeah, she could have...
Exactly. She could have got up to get something to eat.
You don't know. I mean, if you're not, it can't.
I mean...
It's all theories,
Yeah, her getting up in the middle, after she had been already asleep, getting up, oh, I'm hungry, make something, and then go back to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Because, everyone does that at some point in their life.
Yeah. And once these findings became public, the focus shifted away from the evidence and toward the people who had been inside the house.
Once the autopsy findings became known, the investigation entered a new phase. Not because a suspect had been identified, but because attention had nowhere else to go.
There was no confirmed forced entry, no clear witnesses, and no suspect outside the home. With the evidence compromised and the timeline fractured, investigators began looking inward.
This shift didn't happen all at once. It happened gradually, through unanswered questions, missed opportunities, and decisions made under intense pressure.
One of the earliest points of criticism centered on timing. Jon and Patsy Ramsey were not formally interviewed immediately.
In many investigations, early interviews help establish baselines, what someone remembers before memory is shaped by trauma, grief, or outside influence. In this case, those early baselines were delayed.
Supporters of the Ramseys argue this delay was compassionate, that they just had lost a child in an unimaginable way. Critics argue the delay created gaps that could never be closed.
Both perspectives exist, and that tension would follow this case from the beginning.
As the days passed, attention shifted to behavior. What people said, how they said it, and what they remembered, and what they didn't.
Patsy Ramsey's emotional responses became a focal point. Her tone during interviews, her public appearances, her ability or inability to recall certain details.
Investigators also noted that Patsy was wearing the same clothes from the night before, a detail that would later be scrutinized, despite offering no clear explanation on its own.
Jon Ramsey's demeanor was also discussed. Some described him as composed, even businesslike, a reaction some found unsettling, and others recognized as a response to shock and crisis.
Behavioral analysis, however, is not a science with clean answers. People respond to trauma differently. Grief doesn't follow rules, and shock doesn't follow scripts. At the same time, media attention surrounding the case grew rapidly. Headlines began shaping perception before investigators reached conclusions.
Details were leaked, speculation filled the gaps, and the public opinion began to harden.
Once a narrative takes hold, it becomes difficult to undo, especially when that narrative is built on expectation rather than evidence. The Ramsey home itself also became a part of the conversation, not because it provided answers, but because of its layout.
The house was large, multi-level, and expanded over time. It featured multiple staircases, split floors, and a layout that wasn't immediately intuitive.
JonBenét's bedroom was located on the second floor and not visible from the main entrance. For someone unfamiliar with the home, finding it would have been effortless.
But that detail alone does not establish familiarity. It doesn't prove the person responsible knew the family, and it doesn't rule out an intruder who had time, intent, or prior exposure to the home. Another detail that drew early attention was a broken basement window.
Jon Ramsey acknowledged the window had been broken months earlier. He stated he shattered it himself after accidentally locking himself out of the house.
While the window became central to intruder-based theories, investigators were never able to conclusively establish that it was used as a point of entry on the night JonBenét died.
Debris inside the window well did not clearly support recent intrusion. And like many aspects of this case, the window raised questions without providing answers.
In the early hours of December 26th, the Ramseys called friends to the house.
That decision brought comfort during a moment of crisis, but it also contributed to the contamination of an already unsecured crime scene.
People moved freely through the home, surfaces were touched, items were moved, actions that were human, but irreversible.
Burke Ramsey, 9 years old at the time, was also interviewed. His demeanor during those interviews would later become widely discussed.
Some interpreted his behavior as unusual. Others saw a child processing trauma without the emotional language to express it.
Experts disagreed, and once again, there was no consensus. Shortly after JonBenét's death, the Ramseys left Boulder.
Some viewed the decision as suspicious. Others believed it was a family seeking privacy, safety, and distance from overwhelming scrutiny.
As with so many aspects of this case, interpretation depended on perspective. By this stage, the investigation was no longer just about evidence. It had become about interpretation.
So what did delays mean? What did behavior signify? And what did these inconsistencies actually prove?
Without a preserved crime scene or a reliable timeline, those questions became harder to answer and easier to argue over.
The Ramseys became central to the story, not because charges were filed, but because the investigation had lost its anchor points.
Suspicion didn't arrive with certainty. It arrived through absence. Through what wasn't known, what couldn't be proven, and what had already been lost.
And, as pressures mounted, the case began to split, not just into theories, but into sides.
So at this point in the investigation, with limited evidence and growing public pressure, do you guys think investigators are still following the facts, or were they reacting to perception?
I feel like they were reacting to perception.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean...
There's really no facts.
No, it's all hearsay still because they don't have a suspect. They have theories, but theories aren't facts.
Right.
And I was kind of thinking, too, while we were reading this part of how they left Boulder.
Yeah.
I kind of just thought to myself, it reminded me of the first half of Stranger Things Season 5 when Mike and Elle are talking about coming, if a new type of... I don't know how to explain it. How, like, a new environment would be better for them.
Yeah. Which, I was thinking during reading that, I'm like, honestly, everybody does their own, like, comforts their own way during grief. Me, would I want to be in the same house? I don't think
I don't think I would either. Just because, especially if it's a child.
Yeah.
To me, it'd be different if it's an adult,
right.
But a child, I would feel a little bit more
I couldn't be there, for one. So maybe to them, especially going out, leaving Boulder,
Yeah, because it just reminded me
type of thing,
Yeah, because it literally just reminded me of Mike and Elle's conversation of, could that be something for us later on, and how Mike explains once their campaigns end and they can't go back because too much has happened, then they go and find a new land.
Yeah.
I could see, like, in the first part of on JonBenét, how it was how they called friends and family. I can see calling the family, but not friends.
Yeah.
I mean, like
I would, like, let someone, like, you know. Like,
yeah.
So, oh, by the way, but...
Like,
to come, like...
Between you and Michaela, you two would be the first people I would out of my friends group, but I'm going to go straight to my family first. I'm going to go straight to my parents, like, hey.
Yeah.
This just happened. I'm not going to think of my friends first. I'm going to think of immediate family members.
Yeah.
But they're like, here, we're going to call friends and family.
Right. Yeah.
When
and
you call the friends,
call the
yeah, I'm sorry, but I mean, my mindset, I probably am going to call my family first.
I was going to say, I would definitely, I mean, I'd call my dad. I would
but
call my dad
at the same time, I would be, oh shit, I need to call the cops.
Yeah.
Not,
right.
I need to call my friends too, let them know it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be on my mind really at the time.
No, it's going to be like, I would tell my family members, hey, let so-and-so know.
Yeah.
I'm not, if I'm driving and I forget to text somebody that, I tell Caleb, hey, can you text my mom, let them know where we're going?
Yeah.
Because there's that second person I can rely on to do that. Because I'm not going to automatically think, oh, I need to text my mom. Yeah. I'm getting in the car and just going.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're like, I think they're just going off perception, really. I mean, what else are you going to do? Because you don't really have evidence, you don't have...
There's not much they can go off of, especially since they kind of screwed themselves over by not taping off the crime scene.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
no matter what, that should have been the first and foremost thing. I know. And I feel like this police force didn't get the training that they should have gotten. They kind of got a dumbed down training of, oh, it's a small place, this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Well, just because it doesn't happen doesn't mean it's gonna eventually happen.
Exactly.
I mean, again, taking it back to the Stranger Things theory, the very first episode, or the very first thing, Will goes missing.
Right.
Hopper didn't believe Joyce at first.
No.
Oh, he's probably with a family member.
Right. Because, I mean, you don't want to think of the worst,
You don't.
I get it.
But when it's a child, there needs to be something
more seriously.
Yeah. That needs to be like, oh shit, she's a 6-year-old child.
Yeah.
What is she gonna do?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. It makes sense. And because once perception took hold, the theories followed. And those theories would pull this case in opposite directions.
By the time the investigation reached this point, the evidence no longer told a single story. It fractured. And in the absence of clarity, theories and suspects rushed in to fill the gaps.
Over the years, the JonBenét Ramsey case has settled into 3 broad paths. An intruder, someone inside the home, or another individual outside the family whose proximity raised questions.
So instead of choosing sides, we're going to slow this down and separate what is documented from what is often assumed.
The intruder theory suggests someone entered the Ramsey home during the night and killed JonBenét inside the house.
Unidentified male DNA was found on JonBenét's clothing, a detail that has never been fully explained.
There were no definite signs of a violent struggle throughout the home, and no forensic evidence that conclusively placed a specific family member as the perpetrator.
Despite years of focus on entry points, no confirmed point of entry was ever established. The broken basement window had been damaged months earlier, and debris did not clearly support recent intrusion.
The ransom note was written on paper from inside the home, using a pen from inside the home. It showed signs of time, privacy, and possible multiple drafts.
And which raises a difficult question. Why would an intruder remain inside the home long enough to write a lengthy ransom note, only to leave JonBenét behind? As the investigation expanded, law enforcement examined multiple individuals outside the Ramsey family, None were charged, none were proven responsible, but each was investigated for specific reasons.
Bill McReynolds was a family friend who dressed as Santa Claus at the Ramseys' Christmas party just days before JonBenét's death.
JonBenét interacted with him in the ordinary context of holiday Santa visit alongside other children.
In the years following the murder, attention turned to McReynolds after it became known that he had written fiction and poetry with dark, dramatic themes. Some of his writing explored violence, suffering, and death, details that, viewed through the lens of an unsolved crime, made some observers uneasy.
There is no evidence that his writing referenced JonBenét, depicted harm to her, or connected to the crime itself.
McReynolds was questioned, denied involvement, and was never charged. There's no DNA, no physical evidence, and no confirmed presence in the home that night.
The Ramseys' family housekeeper, Linda Hoffman Poe, also became a person of interest early on.
She had regular access to the home, knew the layout, and was familiar with the family's routines.
Investigators noted she was experiencing financial difficulties and had previously asked Patsy Ramsey for a loan. The ransom amount, $118,000, was something she could have known through her employment.
However, there was no physical or forensic evidence linking her to the crime. She cooperated with investigators and was never charged. Gary Olivia was a convicted sex offender living in the Boulder area.
He drew attention due to his criminal history, his proximity to the neighborhood, and later statements, some interpreted as confessions.
At times, Oliva reported claimed involvement and offered to confess in exchange for food or shelter.
Investigators determined his statements were inconsistent and his DNA did not match the unknown male DNA found on JonBenét's clothing.
He was never charged.
Michael Helgoth was examined after reportedly owning boots similar to prints found at the scene and a stun gun some believed resembled injuries on JonBenét.
He allegedly made disturbing comments to acquaintances before dying by suicide in 1997.
Despite this, there was no forensic evidence placing Helgoth in the home or linking him to the murder.
Randy Simmons was a photographer connected to the child pageant circuit.
Some families later described his photography practices as unsettling.
There is no DNA, no physical evidence, and no confirmed connection linking him to the crime. John Brewer Eustace was briefly examined due to his past kidnapping conviction.
He was ruled out after investigators confirmed he had a solid alibi and was at work the night JonBenét died.
In 2006, John Mark Carr confessed to JonBenét's murder.
DNA testing excluded him, and investigators found no credible connection to the crime scene.
Charges were dropped, and he was never prosecuted. Each of these individuals was investigated during periods when answers were scarce and pressure was intense.
In every case, the evidence fell short.
And then, almost immediately after JonBenét's death, her parents became suspects. Not because of a confession, but because of circumstance.
The ransom note demanded $118,000, the exact amount of John Ramsey's bonus. Some handwriting analysis believed it resembled Patsy Ramsey's writing. Others strongly disagreed.
No consensus was ever reached, and handwriting analysis alone had never been considered conclusive.
At various points, investigators involved in the case held sharply different views about what happened inside the Ramsey home.
In a televised interview with Larry King Live, one detective publicly confronted John and Patsy Ramsey with his belief that they were responsible for their daughter's death.
That investigator suggested the crime may have followed a bedwetting incident.
The Ramseys denied the accusation and were never charged based on that theory.
This moment became emblematic of how divided the investigation had become, where belief, frustration, and public pressure sometimes overtook evidence.
In 1998, a Boulder County grand jury voted to indict John and Patsy Ramsey on charges related to the child abuse resulting in death and accessory to a crime.
Prosecutors declined to pursue charges, citing insufficient evidence. An indictment is not a conviction.
The indictments remained sealed for years, fueling public misunderstanding about what the grand jury actually concluded. When released, they did not identify who killed JonBenét or how.
In 2008, the Boulder District Attorney publicly exonerated John Ramsey, Patsy Ramsey, and their son, Burke Ramsey, citing DNA evidence that pointed to an unknown male contributor.
Burke Ramsey was 9 years old at the time. He was never charged, never named a suspect, and no forensic evidence had ever linked him to his sister's death.
And suspicion surrounding him came from interpretation, not proof. John Ramsey has stated publicly that several items sent to crime labs early on were not returned untested. He believes his daughter was killed by a masked intruder, pointing to a similar assault that occurred in Boulder months later. No confirmed link has ever been established.
More than 1,400 pieces of evidence reviewed, over 140 individuals investigated, more than 50,000 pages of documentation generated.
Yet, nearly 3 decades later, the murder of JonBenét Ramsey remains unsolved.
Not because no one tried, but because no certainty never recovered. When you strip away the theories and look only at what can be proven, what question still feels unanswered to you?
Why it took them nearly 7 hours to, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
it goes back to how the investigation started.
I really don't feel like there was a masked intruder.
Yeah.
Mine all goes back to the early investigation.
Yeah.
And one thing I was thinking of, the dad had money, right?
Oh, yeah, they were very well.
They were loaded.
Yeah.
Why not fix that window?
I was thinking of that earlier, too.
Why not fix that window? When you have a very nice home, you upkeep with it. Like,
I was thinking that, too. But then, I mean, I don't know. Because he was saying, oh, I did that a few months ago. It happened a few months ago. So, I mean, at least he's like
he could have forgot about it.
Yeah.
I can see that. But knowing that you have that kind of money and knowing that you keep the grounds looking nice.
Yeah.
I would have fixed that window.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have
But then
left
again, like, you think, here's theories again. If he thought it was someone else, he would have said, yeah, that wasn't, they must have broken the window. But
exactly.
Instead he said he did. So I don't know.
It's just weird. Like,
all these, I don't know.
I
hate this case because I don't know.
I mean, I've cleaned before any actual job that I had. I used to clean mansions with my cousin.
Yeah.
Anytime there was something broken, they were on it, fixing it.
Uh-huh.
They were making sure that their stuff.
Well, they had a housekeeper
upkept.
even. If you're going to pay money for a housekeeper to make your house clean, stay clean and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That to me is just a little strange.
I just feel like he would have put the blame on an intruder saying that's how the window broke. But instead he said it was a few months before.
Yeah. It's just strange. If it's a few months before, you got to think that that's an open area.
Yeah.
Animals would have got in.
Yeah.
Rain.
Depending, see, I don't even know how broken it was, though. Like, was it just like a crack? Well, it must have been broken enough to, I don't know.
It had to have been broken enough to,
Yeah.
at least mention it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they thought someone could get out of it.
Yeah. I mean, it had to have been broken enough to where a body could have fit through it if they were bringing that up.
Because I know they finally determined there was no points of entry, but at that point in time in an early investigation, it's the first thing you're going to think is they either came through here or went out there.
Yeah. And again, you have money, why not fix it?
Yeah. It's a good question.
Well, and wouldn't you think that now
But then,
you could do the DNA
I was
testing?
going to say it's unidentified male DNA testing.
And
or
I mean,
DNA on.
But it
and
said
nowadays,
it wasn't semen, it was just male DNA.
It was still on her clothes.
Yeah.
because to me, like 30, I mean, it's been well over,
It'll be 30 years this coming year.
yeah.
96.
Wouldn't you think, though?
So that comes with the... Ew. Okay, so... JonBenét Ramsey was found wearing large, urine-stained white long johns and oversized underwear, not her actual pajamas, which were later found in her bedroom, leading investigators to believe she was redressed after being attacked, a detail that has fueled much speculation about the crime and cover-up.
Just added more to my questions.
Yeah.
Her mother, Patsy, initially told police JonBenét was wearing a red turtleneck pajama top when put to bed. However, she was found in different clothes, and a red turtleneck was found balled up in the bathroom sink, suggesting a change or staging of clothes. I don't know. I'm so... See, this just adds more. I don't understand.
Mike, what kind of... Was it boy clothes? Or girl clothes? Girl
The
clothes.
oversized underwear was reportedly a size 12. That was urine-soaked.
Who'd wear a size 12?
White long underwear with Wednesday on the elastic waistband.
With what?
Wednesday, like the day.
you wear
You know
them.
how back in the day you
I
had
used to-
underwear?
yeah, I used to-
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I never
I got my
understood that.
underwear. I got my red underwear for Monday. I got my blue underwear for Tuesday. I got my green underwear for
I
Wednesday.
remember that was the thing. I don't...
There's people that literally get pissed if you buy them the same color pack of underwear now. So they're like,
Yeah.
people think I'm wearing the same
So yeah, they
drawers.
said
Like,
she was
what the
wearing...
fuck?
Parents said she was wearing a red turtleneck pajama top, but when they found her, she was in white pajamas.
And why would she be in underwear that's size 12 when she's 6? And
It's
she's
piss
not
soaked.
that. Yeah.
Good question.
Why? I mean, I know that, like, you do lose control of your bowels
Yes.
when you do pass.
That's what came to my mind, but...
So it's like she,
Or maybe the blunt force trauma, but that'd be before
Yeah.
the clothes changing.
yeah.
Yes, this is...
I need that
don't
chrono
know.
visor.
Yeah, because you normally lose control of your bowels after you've been...
That's what I've always heard.
Wee woo, wee woo.
I don't know.
There's a lot of red flags.
I'm so confused. Why would you change your... I don't know.
I'm no genius, but something's not adding up.
None of it adds
No
up. I don't
genius.
understand. Like, this is weird, more weird stuff. I don't know.
I may be from Midwest Jefferson County, but
Exactly. I may be from that there deserter.
I know
but
something's not
I
right.
don't know. It's so weird.
I know DeSoto High School did not give me the best education, but it gave me
then-
enough to put, a few things together here and there.
They said she had trauma down there, so I don't know.
I mean,
Like, I think we can all agree public school's not the best option, but they
hell no.
definitely got to a point where we can tell something's not right here.
I
It
mean-
just makes me mad.
I mean, I at least got some sort of educator there that... I mean, my English may not be that well, but...
Yeah.
Well, some of the interviews we were watching with John Ramsey is like, I mean,
And to me,
maybe it's because he's done 1,000 interviews, but he seems
he could have...
detached.
Yeah.
It says investigators found navy blue fibers on her lower body that did not match the clothes she was found in. Additionally, some experts believe the lack of substantial blood on the oversized panties, despite her injury, suggests she was cleaned and changed into them after the assault. Because when proof disappears, interpretation takes its place. So where does the JonBenét Ramsey case stand today?
Nearly 3 decades later, the murder of JonBenét Ramsey remains an active, open homicide case, under investigation by the Boulder Police Department.
No one has ever been charged, no official suspect has been identified, and despite decades of work, the mystery remains unsolved.
The Boulder Police Department continues to make this case a priority and regularly reviews evidence as investigative techniques evolve.
In recent years, detectives and cold case review teams have conducted new interviews, revisited tips, and prepared evidence for testing with the latest DNA technology.
According to recent reporting, new forensic methods including more sensitive DNA testing and genetic genealogy may allow investigators to analyze evidence that was previously unusable.
This does not mean a suspect has been identified or that a breakthrough has occurred. It means the possibility exists where it once didn't.
Some evidence collected early in the investigation was either never tested or could not be fully analyzed with the technology available at the time. Today's methods may be able to extract information that was once out of reach.
Whether that leads to answers or simply narrows the questions remains to be seen.
John Ramsey has continued to publicly maintain his family's innocence and his belief that an intruder was responsible.
Patsy Ramsey passed away in 2006 after a long battle with ovarian cancer. She consistently maintained her innocence and was never charged in connection with the murder.
Burke Ramsey has lived largely out of the public eye as an adult. He has never been charged, never named a suspect, and has strongly denied involvement.
No legal finding has ever concluded that any member of the Ramsey family was responsible for JonBenét's death.
JonBenét Ramsey was 6 years old. She was not a theory, she was a child.
And like all unsolved homicides, hers remains open, not just on paper, but in the hope that answers may still come.
The Colorado Boulder Police Department encourages anyone with information about the homicide of JonBenét Ramsey to contact detectives directly.
You can reach investigators via email at bouldersmostwanted@bouldercolorado.gov or by calling the Boulder Police Department tip line at 303-441-1974.
Every piece of information, no matter how small, has the potential to help. Sometimes, the smallest detail can be the one that finally matters.
Because even after all these years, the truth hasn't disappeared. It's simply waiting to be found. And that concludes this episode of Veil of Echoes. If you appreciate the care and research that goes into each episode, please consider following Veil of Echoes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen.
Leaving a rating or review helps our small indie show reach new listeners and allows these stories to be told with the time and respect they deserve.
And this Friday, we return back to the paranormal, to the Appalachian Mountains, a region steeped in ancient folklore, unexplained disappearances, and stories of something watching from just beyond the tree line.
And on New Year's Eve, we'll be releasing a short bonus episode exploring the real-life fears, government experiments, and hidden histories that helped inspire Stranger Things.
Starting in January, we'll also be launching a new mini-series called Missing Veil Files, focused on missing persons cases that deserve more attention than they've received.
Until then, keep your ears open.
And the veil closed.